So now we're going to take a deeper look at Jupyter Lab. Um, Press the launch button under Jupyter Lab to launch this specific application. Um, as you can see, as while it's launching, I guess I can explain a little bit about what it is. It's sort of outlined in a notebook style design. So instead of writing code in the regular format that you're used to with functions and such, we get to write code line by line and then execute each line independently. And this is really why uh, Jupyter Notebook is, extensively used because we can independently run certain functions without having to run the whole code itself. So I'm just going to remove some of my files, but once you launch Jupyter Lab, you should see something like this. You probably will not have something called a Python portfolio. The first thing I really want you to do is uh, click on this new folder icon and create a folder, name it something like Python portfolio. And this is where and then double click on it. And this is really where I want you to keep all your files. To create a notebook, as they say, is uh, you click on this tile here that says Python 3. And now we have this new file automatically created. There's no name, but it's in this format called IPYNB. And this really tells you that it's a Jupyter Notebook file. And it's in our Python portfolio. So that's what we want. We're going to rename this. We're going to call it Python. I'll keep everything lowercase, underscore basics. And now we can really execute code here. So this is what a cell, this is what you call a cell. You can add more cells by using this plus icon. So it keeps adding cells as you want it to. You can also add cells by clicking here. In each cell is where we can uh, execute Python code. For example, if I want to print something, I can just type print. And then to run this specific cell, I press this play button. So press play. And now it executed whatever the code was in that cell. I can have unexecuted cells, meaning I have some code that's written in cells, but we haven't executed it yet. Execution really means we press this play button. So as long as I don't press this play button, Jupyter Notebook doesn't know to run this piece of code. So instead of running hello, I'll go to the cell called by and then press play. So now it ran this cell. You can see that there's a numbering as well here, which for the first one we see a 1, for the second one we see a 2 here, and in the middle we see no numbers. We also see no numbers in all of these empty cells. What the numbering means is that this is the ordering of the executions, meaning this was the first cell that we ran, and this was the second piece of code that we ran. We haven't ran this command yet, so that's why there's no number here. If I run this, I should see the number 3. So you can see that, we first ran hi and then bye and then hello, and correspondingly we see 1, 2, and 3, um, you know, as the ordering is preserved. If you want to save your file, you can press this save button here. You can also just press Control Save or Command Save. Um, the other thing we're going to discuss later on is the types of cells. So right now, all of these cells are code cells, but we can also have a different type of cell called a markdown cell. And this, um, you don't see any numberings here because we're not executing any code. Instead, we're able to just write, hello, this is a markdown cell. And then when I run this cell, you know, it's just here as a piece of text. And that's all it is. There's no code here, it's just text. So those are mainly the two types of cells that will, change between the code cell and the markdown cells. Markdown cells really help you document what you're trying to do to help others make sense of your code. And this is why, there's going to be a separate video on just markdown cells. There's, cool things we can do, such as create titles uh, with special syntax. So now the title is larger. Anyways, that's not the topic for this video, but that's just for you to get used to what a notebook really is. We can see that it's running on Python 3. So that's the version of Python that this notebook file is using. And this was all given to us by Anaconda. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it for understanding a Jupyter Notebook.